Welcome on this YouTube channel. So today we are going to continue with the video number 5 concerning our training on C programming. Good. So if you are discovering this channel through this video, make sure you go through the channel and you watch the previous video concerning the training on C programming, and of course based on your level. Good. So if you think that you have a certain level in C programming language, then fine, you can start for this video. Good. So here we are going to talk about the input function, and the input function that we'll be using here is the scanf. Good. And here, note something, that when you talk about input and output function in C programming language, it's not just about scanf and printf. No. When we are going to manipulate strings, you'll be seeing that there are other input function and output function that exist. The most popular one that we are using is printf and scanf. That's why I don't want to mention the others now, but surely I'm going to mention it during this training. So scanf. Now the next thing is to know how to use a scanf. So but before we move into what's the scanf function, so the scanf function is just a function used to read an input from the keyboard. Good. Meaning that when you execute your program, you'll be seeing that it's stopping somewhere, asking the user or waiting the user to press, I don't know, something from the keyboard before he proceed with your algorithm or before he proceed with your program. Good. So it's exactly that. So when are you using scanf? It's very clear. We are using a scanf when the user is supposed to enter something. Meaning what? When you are writing a code in such a way that the user must execute and type something on the keyboard, like send some input to the computer for the computer to process it. In that case, now you need what? An input function called scanf in this case to collect that input from the user. So it's very clear. What's the syntax of the scanf? Is very clear. The syntax here is observed here very well because we'll be using it. So you write the keyword scanf. In double quote, you precise the format specifier. Then you write comma, you write your ampersand symbols, then what follows the name of the variable. So good. So the ampersand is this and. So sometimes we call it and. So this symbol here. So we practice directly, so there's no time to waste. Good. Now let us say I want to write a program that collect a number from a user. So this same program, so you remember that the last time we reserve space by declaring n, and that space we reserve, we fill it by doing what we call initialization. Initialization simply means to that variable we give an initial value. You see, good. So this time I don't want to initialize the variable, but I want to ask this number from the user. So the user must press this number on the keyboard. Good. Any number, in fact, it's not say he's supposed to press 5. You see, good. The other, when you are initializing directly in the code, it's very clear there you must give an initial value, and it's a fixed value. But when you are taking it from the user, surely the user will press any integer he wants. So how to do it? Generally, when you are using a scanf, it's going pair with printf. Why? Because when you are executing the code, at least the user must see a message telling him to do something. And generally, when you are entering something or when you are sending an input to the computer, the user must read something to know exactly what he's supposed to type on the keyboard. That is why I'm going to start with a printf here. And my printf here is just a simple message saying that enter an integer number. So this is what my printf is doing. Good. So semicolon. And after this, another notion we are supposed to study, the notion of going to the next line, all this thing. It's not important for now. So surely in the next video we talk about that. So after this, remember that the input function is what? Scanf. Scanf like this. Good. So the next thing is what? Your format specifier in double quote. In this case, I'm trying to input an integer. The format specifier for integer is %G. So you are seeing that when you master what you are doing, each time you'll be writing something, you know exactly what you are doing. Don't be writing things without understanding. Because I'm a teacher, I'm working with students every day, and students are doing funny mistakes. That's why when I'm doing the videos like that, there are certain points I will be saying here that if you take it very seriously, you have no problem. Good. So after this, remember that what follow is what? Is comma out of the double quote. Now here you precise this symbol. Ampersand, sorry, then the name of the variable. My variable there is what? N. Good. Now, variable in C programming is case sensitive. In fact, in general, variable in programming is case sensitive. Whether you are using, I don't know, any type of programming language, it's the same rules there. Meaning that here, as you have declared capital N, if you come and put small n here, it's no more the same variable. It's no more the same variable. And this is a thing that you can test yourself. Like when you are looking this video, you are doing back all this, go back and try to change it to small n, so that when you see that the thing is not working, you understand okay, what that teacher is saying is correct. So you end with a semicolon. So you save, Control S. Good. After saving, you execute the code. So I'm going to click on compile and run. So good. When I click here, you'll be seeing that there is a mistake. Exactly. So I did this mistake intentionally because I want to explain something. So I think here, the first thing, what's the debugger telling me? The debugger is telling me that, okay, at line 8, there's a mistake on this line. So you can observe here. If you observe very well, you'll be seeing that here is scanf, but I've added a T and there's no T. Good. But generally, this bottom part here, there's a bar normally they're supposed to appear here, telling you that, okay, this is the mistake, like a sentence telling you the exact mistake. Because sometimes you can execute and this line is appearing, but the mistake is not exactly on this line. The mistake can be maybe above or below, you see. Good. And if you don't look very well, you will never see the mistake. But you'll be seeing that when I click here, at the bottom of this page, in fact, there's nothing appearing. Good. So to make that bar to appear is very easy. In fact, surely some of you, the bar is already there with the mistake. Fine. But I'm talking for the case of student having this version, in fact, of Dev C++ where it's not appearing here. Good. So if you are not having it, it's very clear. You go to View. Good. Normally at the level of View, you are supposed to see something as log. The spelling of log, L-O-G-S. Logs. Good. After seeing logs, now you will be seeing some option there. Just check all of them. Good. But in my case, there's nothing as log. So in this case, if you have the same interface like come and click on this last one, floating report window. You click there. When you click on that, you'll be seeing that there's a small thing appearing here. This floating things here, you see. So this floating bar. So in that case, you see that error. Make sure you place your arrow, I don't know, at the border of the bar like that. You press the left click of your mouse, then you drag it down like this. Good. You see this thing will appear directly. Are we there? Good. So let me just execute again so that you see the thing is still there, present. Good. And if I read very well, I'm having a mistake like undefined reference to scanf, you see. So they are telling me that they don't recognize, in fact, this function. Scanf is not existing in C programming language. So here you come, you remove this T. Good. So yeah, that is why you need to master all the different syntax of C programming. And to master it, there's no magic here. You just master as you are working, you see. Good. So for now, if you know printf, scanf, if you know in main, all these things, fine. Very good. So now if I execute again, you'll be seeing there is no mistake. So what's happening here, I'm having my message enter an integer number. So let me just write this down. You see, good. And directly here, if you analyze very well, you'll be seeing that there's a vertical bar blinking, like he's waiting the user to type something. Let us say I type something like 8. I press enter. Directly you have the number is 8. Good. Meaning what, I'm sending 8 into my memory, into the variable. So it's exactly that. So you close the program. Now let me come back here and explain the meaning of this symbol here. Now in reality, this symbol simply means address. What's the meaning of address? Let me go back again to, let me close this thing. Remember that this is a floating bar, so when the thing is present there, you're not seeing this bottom part. So we just need to, I don't know, we just float it somewhere. Good. And let me just go back to pane. Good. So remember that here, when you are declaring your variable, you are reserving space in the memory like this, and that space is what, in this case, it is called n. Now, so see this symbol here simply means address. Never forget that, address. So when you just write the name of the variable, in this case, the name of our variable is what? N. If I just write n like that, this n here is giving us the value of what is stored inside n. You see? Good. But the problem is that we don't want the value, but by adding this thing, this symbol beside n, I'm having but what? The address of the location A. Now, since the user is entering something into the memory, it simply means that he needs what? He needs the address location of where he's going to store his value. So see this as a story building. Let us say I'm having a building like this. So to make it very easy for you, I'm having a building. Now what happened here, this building is having, let us say, different level like that. Good. And let us say this is the house of my girlfriend. Okay, let us say she's living somewhere here. Okay, and the name of this story building is maybe, I don't know, HB. Okay, so this is the name of the story building. Okay, so I'm coming to visit her. So I'm here, this me. Good. The problem is that I know that, okay, she's living here, HB building. But the problem is that I don't know her door. So I'm not going to call her that, okay, baby, please give me the address of your door. If she's telling me that, okay, let me just number this. Let us say this is 1, 2, 3. If she said door 1, so you have seen that in that case, when I'm moving up, I'm going to enter directly where? In door 1 without disturbing the other people living here, you see. So it's exactly that. So here I want to store something in a variable called n. So I need the address of this location. So in that case, you add this symbol beside it. So there's just one exception. The exception is when you are working with strings. When you are working with string, you are no more using this symbol, and I will explain that by the moment we'll be doing string. So, but for the rest of the variable, you precise the address. Good. Another curious student will ask this question, sir, why is it that when we were using the printf function to print the content of a variable, we did not use the symbol of address? It's simply because when you are printing the content of the variable, it simply means that that location is already having a value, and you are trying to display that value. Are we there? In that case, do you need again the address? No. It's like I'm inside the house of my girlfriend. I want to go out of the house. Do I need again the address? No, I'm already in. So to go out, I'm just going out directly, you see. But when I'm entering, I need to know the address of where I'm entering. That is why when you are doing an input, you use address, but output, you don't use an address. I think I'm very clear with what I'm saying here. Good. That's why you are seeing that for the printf. If I move back to the code, that's why you are seeing that for the printf. Here we just give what? The name of the variable, full stop, because we know that the name of the variable is returning us what? The exact value. You see? Good. But when you add this symbol beside the variable, you are obtaining the address memory of this variable here. Good. It's such a way that when you press something, that value is stored directly at that location, because remember that the memory is accessed by address. So for me to access the location, I need the address of that location. Good. So when you have this in mind, I'm not seeing how you'll be doing this type of mistake, because some students are confused here. You see a student, he's using this symbol in printf, he's using in scanf, sometimes even omitting it in scanf without knowing why. So I think I'm clear with the explanation, so that next time when you're using it, you think first before using it. Very important. So I told you that there's an exception for scanf where you are not using the symbol. Good. But I think from here you can reason. If there's an exception, it simply means that for that exception, there's already a way to obtain the address of memory location without putting this symbol. And I will explain that when you are going to work with string, you'll be understanding exactly what is happening. So this is perfect, this is perfect, this is perfect. So the next video we are going to practice again, like a small exercise where we are using again this scanf and printf function before moving to the next concept. Good. So thank you. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share. If you have any question, comment section is there. My contacts are in the comment section, so you can contact directly if you want. No problem. Good. So make sure that if you have enjoyed the video, so leave a positive comment. So thank you, and see you in the next video.